As I sit in my warm and comfortable home full of everything I could possibly need and much of what I want, I can't help but think about an American pioneer woman that I read about a few years ago. She and her family had left all they knew to start a new life on the American frontier. She lived in a sod house, a house literally made of mud and grass, dark, damp, cheerless by every measure. But every evening, straining her eyes by the firelight, she would carefully sew her patchwork quilt. And someone asked her years later why she spent the last of her energy every evening working on such detailed, delicate work. She said something that has stayed with me ever since. She said, "I make my quilts as fast as I can to keep my children from freezing, and as beautiful as I can to keep my heart from breaking." The challenge, fear, and desperate poverty all around her was balanced in her heart by a thing of beauty that she created with her tired hands. In her quiet way, she was romanticizing her experience. Now, this isn't blindly ignoring realities. It's intentionally putting on rose-colored glasses so that reality becomes a focus on the positive, choosing to find the good and worthy in the midst of challenge. In modern wellness, romanticizing your life has become a popular mental health strategy that involves slowing down and participating in routines that activate gratitude. But it got me thinking, how could this apply to our homeschools? So today, I want to share 4 ways to do that. Not in silly, fluffy, or trite ways, but in ways that are deep, meaningful, and bring real change. Hi, my name is Laura from The Living Homeschool. I've been homeschooling my 3 children for 20 years now using the Charlotte Mason method. And in this channel, I hope to help and encourage new and seasoned homeschool moms alike as we do this good and worthy thing. So the 19th century British educator Charlotte Mason encouraged mothers not to, say, miss the forest for the trees. She said, "Do not let the endless succession of small things crowd great ideals out of sight and out of mind." So can I ask you something? Did you start this homeschooling journey with some great ideals? Did you have a vision of a life you wanted when you took the way less traveled? Because the months and years of everydayness, the Cheerios on the floor, the meat you forgot to thaw, the magnets for the science experiment that you're trying to keep away from your toddler, those ideals have a way of fading into a distant mist. Romanticizing our homeschool days is how we lift our gaze back to what we were going for in the first place. All right, so let's get into it. 1, it helps us to reframe the way we see our situation. So romanticizing interrupts the negative or mundane thought loops and helps us to savor what is actually good. So the simplest way to start, find beauty in the ordinary. Tidy up your school space in the evening so you can begin each morning with calm. Take nature walks. It doesn't have to be grand. It can just be around your yard or in your neighborhood. Actually notice things, the complexity of a leaf, the beauty of a spider web, the way the light hits it. Maybe quietly listen to a piece of classical music from the composer that you're studying that term, or look at a piece of fine art with your child on the couch. You can find beauty of service in the mundane tasks of life. There is a quote I love. "Thank God for dirty dishes, for they have a tale to tell. While others may go hungry, we're eating very well." Ruth Bell Graham, wife of the famous evangelist, had a plaque over her kitchen sink that said, "Divine service will be conducted here 3 times daily." And a speaker I once heard at a conference said she prayed for whoever's laundry she was folding at the time. And the beautiful thing is, none of this requires anything extra, just new eyes for what's already in front of you. There's a part of our brain called the reticular activating system that filters what we notice, and we can train it. When we start we're intentionally looking for beauty, we genuinely begin to see more of it. Charlotte Mason described it perfectly. Do you know how Eyes and No Eyes went out for a walk? No Eyes found it dull and said there was nothing to see, but Eyes saw 100 interesting things and brought home his handkerchief full of treasures. The people I know are either Eyes or No Eyes. So, number 2, it helps us to slow down. Stress over curriculum, anxiety about whether we're doing enough, the pressure of a schedule that maybe isn't working, the nagging feeling that everyone else has it together more than we do. So much of that noise lives in either the future or the past. Worry about what's coming or guilt about what's already gone. And when we're living there, we're missing what's right in front of us. The antidote to so much of that is simply being present. And this is where romanticizing our homeschools really becomes genuinely practical, because it's hard to spiral into anxiety when your hands are wrapped around a warm mug as you listen to your daughter recite, poetry across the table from you. It's hard to feel behind when you're crouched down beside your son in the grass, both of you examining a beetle as it makes its way across a leaf. Those moments have a way of kind of pulling you back into your body, back into your day, back into this, which is the only place where life is actually happening anyway. A shared cup of hot cocoa, tea time over poetry, lessons at a quiet picnic table at the park, painting in your nature notebooks together. These aren't just pleasant extras that you add in when everything else is going well. They are the anchors. That's how you stay sane in this vocation that asks a lot of you. When I do these things with my kids, my anxieties about their futures and my guilt about the past just quiet. I'm here and I'm realizing over and over again that here is actually really, really good. All right, so number 3, it grows gratitude. On those days when it's kind of hard to get started, I try to remind myself not to say, I have to do this, but I get to do this. I get to spend these hours with my children, my most favorite people on the planet. I get to be the one who hears their first words read aloud. I get to be the one who opens up a world of knowledge to them daily. I get to be the one who sits beside them when things are hard and challenging and they're struggling. I get to have over 16,000 more hours with my children than if they were in school. Childhood is finite. Homeschooling gives us more of that limited, irreplaceable time. And that is worth stopping for, to be grateful for. And 4, it gives us back our heroes. We live in a time when statues come down more often than they go up. Every historical figure seems to require a disclaimer. But children need heroes, and we need them too. Whatever is good and noble and true should be appreciated. Wide reading in history and literature will give your children the opportunities to admire those who have done great things, even though they were human and had their many faults, maybe even vices. Yes, our children may experience some disappointment when they learn that their heroes were sinners like the rest of us. In fact, the poet Shelley wrote, "If we were things born not to shed a tear, I know not how thy joy we ever should come near." Every age has its heroes, and replacing them on a pedestal is okay. Children delight in these role models, if only for the one noble thing that they did. Hero admiration motivates us to be more noble in our own lives and to think of others more than ourselves, to enlarge our sympathies. No doubt those heroes disappoint us greatly at times, but in them we can see worthiness and the struggle to do good. Of course, we don't have to condone every aspect of their lives to admire the parts that were noble. But by admiring heroes, we are saved from the failing of arrogance and conceit. So let your children have heroes and allow yourself to have them too. When we romanticize our homeschools in these real and grounded ways, we reset our brains and train them to find that what we're doing is even more meaningful and desirable. And when we come back after a weekend or even a long summer break, those days feel even richer for it. If you are new to homeschooling, check out my workshop below. If you'd love to learn more about the life-giving method of education that I use with my children, I'd invite you to check out my Charlotte Mason Masterclass, also linked below. All right, that's all for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.